What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Everything USA Prime. I'm your host, Nick Swanson, and today we are heading down to Southeast Missouri to highlight another part of the Prime family. So joining to me today is Christian Cavaness. I probably butchered that.
No, really close. Yeah, Christian Cavaness. Yep.
Cavaness. That was close enough.
Yep.
Christian is our operator down there. He's one of our brand new partners. Christian, I appreciate you jumping on. I am excited for this one because I want people to get to know you, learn more about what we're building in Southeast Missouri, and then kind of talk about, we'll call it SEMO. That's the name we're rolling with. So USA Prime SEMO and what the future kind of holds moving forward. So, Christian, again, appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me on. I know this is, it's something brand new for us, something that we're excited about. So, being able to do something like this and, possibly help it grow even just a little bit quicker and get the name out there and get everything rolling is something we're excited about. So thank you guys.
Awesome. So, hey, Christian, obviously, I know you decently enough. Why don't we kind of start there? Obviously, what were you guys prior to SEMO? What was your guys' name?
So we were Aces Baseball. This is actually we just completed our fifth season as Aces Baseball. I actually have one of the hats here. Kind of a little bit of a ripoff of a Arizona Diamondbacks. So we were Aces Baseball. We basically used the exact same, little bit different logo than what they had. Funny story. Me and my dad, we were actually when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, 5 years ago, we were like, you know what, let's just go through all the logos we can find. We literally were like, we're just going to go through the alphabet. Obviously, we didn't get very far because we stopped at an A. We really liked it. We're like, I can mess with that logo a little bit, change it up so you don't get in trouble for anything. And we really liked the colors as well. It was something very different for us. Nobody around here used the gold, and we had gold on gold uniforms. We had red, like the dark red. So it was something different, and we enjoyed it. But we knew that there was a max to what we were going to be able to offer for our kids in our area and stuff like that. And when this opportunity came, man, it was almost a no brainer for me. It was one of those things I just kind of had to ask other people that were involved with what we were trying to do, and once I kind of explained the situation, explained everything that would be able to change and happen, they were all for it too. So yeah, man, it's been good. I've got a lot of these hats now, so I got to figure out if I wear all of them until they're all bad or what. But no, it's exciting. It does kind of suck to kind of leave some of that stuff in the past and everything, but it's one of those that I'm completely happy with, where it got to in 5 years, and I'm excited for something new and something to continue to push us and what we want to do forward. So
yeah, I know we're super pumped to have you guys. I've been to Missouri a few times. I love Missouri, so I think it's awesome to have you guys on board and kind of build that state down there. So I'm pumped from my standpoint. I know Prime's pumped to have you guys, and I'm excited to kind of see where you take it in the future. So those that are listening that don't know who you are, Christian, can you kind of give us a background of, you grow up playing baseball? How did you kind of get to the Aces? Kind of give us a background of yourself and kind of how you got to form Aces Baseball.
Yeah, so me and my wife and we have two children as well. We actually live in Jackson, Missouri now, which is like Cape Girardeau, Missouri. For anybody that kind of has been here, Southeast Missouri State University, they're the Red Hawks. That's like the that's kind of where the SEMO name comes from. Everything they're in Cape Girardeau. So I grew up in Cape Girardeau. Graduated from Cape Girardeau High School in 2012. And I baseball and football have been my life probably ever since I could throw a ball or catch a ball. So it was something that once I kind of found out that, hey, you can make a job out of baseball, like playing and all that, I'm like, that sounds incredible. That sounds way more fun than what my mom and dad told me they do all the time, when they come home from work. So baseball has always been something that I've loved. Football's actually my like favorite sport to watch. It's just very entertaining and whatnot. But yeah, man, football, baseball. I've been wrapped up in sports my entire life, and I think that the younger ages, there's so much more information out there that they can get to, and as long as it's good information, it's going to help progress their life in the sport as long as they want. And that's something that I tried to take advantage of as much as I possibly could. And now that I'm in a position where I can kind of influence some of those younger kids and kind of guide them in the right direction, that's something that I knew that this is where I need to be, this is where I want to be. And then now I'm here, 32 years old. I think I've been doing baseball training, baseball coaching since probably 24, 25, like kind of like I'll say kind of full time with it. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to, I've helped out my younger brother's teams and stuff even when I was in high school. So coaching is probably something I always knew I was wanting to get into. It's just a matter of, when am I going to be done playing, and then when does coaching start? So like it's anything to stay in the game, honestly. It's a blast.
No, that's awesome. Like I said, for all of our listeners out there, like getting to know you and getting to kind of know your background, I think is only, you're a young guy, right? I think that's very important nowadays. A lot of these guys that try to run orgs are, yeah, they're kind of the ancient dinosaurs, right? So I think it's awesome that it's, young guns kind of taking the show, running what we got to do and so forth. So what about outside of baseball, man? Like, we got any crazy hobbies we like to do in Missouri? Anything, I'm a big sports cards collector.
Okay.
Kind of what I do.
That's taken off here. That's
yeah.
There's a lot of that. My brother-in-law, he actually, was it Whatnot? Is that, are you on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He does shows on there. I don't know what he does now on that, but dude, card collecting, like kids that I train, they're always talking about cards that they're going to go get the cards that they're looking for and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When that Paul Skeens card was trying to like rotation, come in and be like, I bought like this many packs and this many. I'm like, man, y'all are nuts for it. But I had cards when I was little. As far as like me, man, I like being outside, but right now I don't, because it's so humid here. Like,
right.
It's miserably hot and sticky and everything. But I really like being outside. Like doing kind of really anything active. Right now mainly my activity is chasing my almost 2-year-old child around.
Nice.
He going to the park, anything like that. But yeah, man, honestly, anything that keeps me kind of active. Video games, love video games as well. That's one of the fun things where some of the kids that play for us, we'll hop on, we'll play Fortnite, we'll play Call of Duty, whatever it is, like whatever they're kind of enjoying, just to kind of build the relationship there. And yeah, I mean, really just movies. I'm trying to catch up on the Marvel movies before
before the big one comes out.
Man, like we just went movies, so like I'm a movies, kind of video games, being active outside, sports, and that's kind of what my life kind of revolves around there. And luckily the same for my family. So and then also watching a lot of Elmo right now. Almost too much Elmo. So need the child to kind of start wanting to watch NFL football when that starts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're in the Miss Rachel stage right now, so I feel you on that one. They got like a whole channel now on Netflix or something like that. I was like, okay. Hey.
Yep. Just turn that thing on, and man, he blanks out and he'll just sit there and watch it, or doing his alphabet and talking and all this kind of stuff. So
love it. Upcoming baseball stud. That's what we got.
Yeah.
All right. So I know a big thing that we like to talk about, we always say, the prime standard when it kind of comes to things, when that revolves around culture or whatnot. So when it comes to SEMO, what is the culture that you guys have kind of built with ACES that kind of brings over to SEMO in the future that you guys are trying to build down there?
Yeah, man. So one thing we always did when we got together practices, like we tried to figure out, like, okay, what do we want what do we want our kids to believe in when we started this? And one thing that we did, I don't have anything on all of our jerseys. Every time we broke down as a team, like we always broke on 8%. And, we had
Mm.
so many people just asking us, like, what is 8%? What is that? 8% comes out to about 2 hours of the day. And we tried to get our kids to give us everything you could in that 2 hours, and we're gonna make progress. It may not be as much progress as we are gonna make possibly tomorrow, or make as much progress as it was the day before, but as long as we're making progress, we're going in the right direction. So we really tried to, instill, like, give me everything you got for 8% of your day, and we're gonna be in the right spot. And the young kids, they loved it. Families loved it, everything. Sometimes we got away from that a little bit when we got a little bit to the older groups, but it's one of those things. Like, I know the kids, they've got so much stuff on their plate, but
Hmm.
trying to just be able to separate, like, hey, when you're at baseball, nothing else matters. Like, don't worry about the homework that you have to do tomorrow. Don't worry about the test that you had to take early. Like, just focus on this. It'll probably make you happier anyways, because you probably like baseball more than you like, your homework or anything like that. Just let this be a space where you can go all in at this, and we know we're gonna get better. So that was kind of like what we tried to, push for them. That was one thing. Whenever we made the move over, like, I had a bunch of parents. They're like, "Are we still gonna be able to have 8% on things?" I'm like, "We're probably gonna get rid of that. Like, not get rid of it, but, like, we're gonna move
Right.
from that." But it's one of those things where they would tell their kids that, like, our kids would have to, there'd be teams that would see it on our shoulder of the jerseys that we had, and they're like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, hey, I'm not explaining it. Kids, you explain it, because you know what it's
Right.
mean. And that was a big thing for us. And just give me what you got, everything you got for these 2 hours, or whatever time we're together, and good things are going to happen. So that was kind of like what we tried to push for them, and then make them understand that 8% is not a lot. Like, it's not a lot, but
Right.
if you give me a lot for that little amount of time, we're set.
That's so cool. I love that. I love hearing the stories behind, like, the culture and kind of where
Yep.
where different guys are at. A lot
Yeah.
of a lot of that I like to steal from Michigan because I think it's sweet, but
Yep.
it's really cool kind of hearing that from your guys' side. So super cool from that perspective. I know what I think when you think of USA Prime. Obviously, there's a ton of talented baseball players everywhere.
Yep.
You don't have to live in Dallas, Atlanta, these huge markets to
Yep.
be honestly legitimate ball players, right? So when it comes to SEMO and the kids, and the access that they're going to have and the opportunities that might exist, how do you think that's going to kind of affect your guys' area?
I think it's going to be a positive, because that was one of the big reasons why we wanted to make the move. Is we felt we were maxed out. We felt that everything that we could do personally, we may be able to get to a level that I think you guys are going to get us to almost instantly. But is that going to be 5 years down the road, 6 years down? Like, we didn't have a timeline of, like, can we
Right.
along all this kind of stuff, because and the kids that we would have this coming year at the 18U level are going to be seniors. They were part of the very first teams that we put together. So and some in my brain, I'm like, you know what, we need to do this for them so they don't miss out on it completely. And I think that it's going to be a big thing for the area, because we do have a lot of talented players here across the entire Southeast Missouri area. And I know sometimes, like, we have a lot of small towns. We have a lot of places that are really hard to get to. We got a lot of places that you'll lose cell phone service the minute you cross that bridge, and like over the little train tracks to get to that little town.
Nope.
So it is difficult for some people to go watch baseball down there, or go recruit baseball down there. But with this and the things that USA Prime can bring, I think that kind of connects those dots for some of those kids a little bit easier. It gives them a place to go play that has cell phone service, that has eyes on them, and it is easier for a college coach. And that's why I try to explain to some of these kids all the time anyways, is you know a college coach only has so much time to give to a certain area, a certain game before he's got to go to another one or go look at another guy. And if he can see 10 talented baseball players rather than just go and see one, he's going to choose. Even if the one is one of the better players, there's a better chance of him finding, a player or two out of a group of 10 than there is just this one. So, and it's all about how much time does a guy have. And, the way college sports are now, coaches, they need 29 hours in a day, 30 hours, and they just don't have it. So wherever they can go, that's a more dense population of players, that's just kind of where they have to go. And, being able to attach the USA Prime name that's known to coaches, that's known to people, it just makes it that much easier, because they know what they're going to kind of get when they go see a USA Prime team, or it's like, hey, this Prime team's going to play here against, this other organization. There's going to be two good teams playing. I need to go check that one out. It's a lot easier to attach that to USA Prime, and that was a big thing for us.
No, I love it. I mean, I think it's awesome. I think, again, just providing opportunities as much as possible to, these kids, I think is just so important nowadays on top of player development. So it's really cool hearing that from your perspective. And like I said, like a lot of the partners that we bring on, like they all say very similar things, and it's a cool network that we're all on the same page when it kind of comes to this kind of stuff. So really, really cool there. All right, so let's talk about exposure. We'll continue off of that. So when it comes to exposure, college level type stuff, like, is there anything that you guys do currently to help get your kids to the next level? And kind of what has that looked like in the past? Like, have you signed a ton of guys? That kind of scenario. Would love to talk about the college recruitment process that you guys do.
Yeah. So our era, we've got 3 or 4 pretty solid JUCOs in this area, and that compete every year. And we have the A+ program. I don't know if that's a thing for you guys. We push all of our kids to do that anyways, just because it's 2 years of free schooling. Even if it's a backup plan, at least your backup plan is taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything. We have a few guys, even some of like the top guys that like we don't have in our organization, but top guys around here, a lot of them still go to the JUCOs in the area. I think it's an avenue that those colleges, they have, the relationships with the high schools and everything there. We've had a few guys that have gotten some good looks from some of the tournaments we've gone to in the past, and we use Field Level, that app there, and I've got I try to get all of our, I put it on the kids. I tell them, like, hey, add me as your coach, whatever. I'll fill out your information sheet or whatever on there. So we kind of put it on the kids a little bit and teach them a little bit of response. Like, if this is what you want, like it takes 15 minutes to do this, I'll take care of the rest. Send it out to schools that I have contact with on there. If a kid wants me to reach out to a school that's kind of not in the area, we don't have a lot of people that branch out super far in this area to go play places. So it's kind of a pretty kind of tight knit region here and everything. So there's a few schools, Arkansas, that kind of have connections with. We've done some. I've talked to their coach about doing some like little showcases down there for them and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is through Field Level for us, or if we've got the coach's contact. There's one in Jackson, Tennessee, that we went to a showcase or a little like tryout type thing there, and some of the kids, the coach was like, hey, give me these kids information, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of it's more kind of that relationship, knowing them, kind of talking to them in person, kind of thing for us. But a lot of the kids, they prefer to go to the JUCOs. They know they have a little bit better chance of kind of competing as a freshman and getting some playing time and stuff like that. But that's kind of like the extent of where we're at on there. Obviously, like I've said before, kind of having the USA Prime name attached to things makes things a little bit easier to put in the door for some kids. So we're excited about what those opportunities could offer us there and offer our kids there.
Yeah, super exciting. Like I said, I'm excited to see kind of, hey, I feel like you guys have done a great job when it comes to the recruitment practice in general, but sticking USA Prime there and using
Yep.
some resources, I think it can only get bigger, which is awesome. All right, so let's talk about currently where we're at. Christian, how many teams do you have and what ages?
So this year, I believe we're going to have 10 teams. We'll have 10, 12, 13, 2 14s, 2 15s, 2 16s, and a 17. Yep, so 10. Yep.
10. Okay, nice.
Yep, 17.
And then do you guys have like a facility or anything like that?
Yeah, so I actually have my own facility. I run that whole thing there. We keep it kind of separate because in this I tried to, whenever we started the ACES thing, kind of have the teams run through the facility or like out of the facility there.
Okay.
And would kind of just get some questions from people that weren't playing for us or anything. Be like, we still train here even though we don't play for the ACES. It's like, so it got really confusing for a lot of people around here. So now our kids that we've got, they have access to the facility whenever they kind of want to, or if somebody's there, they can come in and hit, they can come in and throw, they can come in and lift, whatever they want to do. But it technically it's separate from the teams, but we use it together. So the kids have access to it. The kids have, if they, like I said, if they want to come in and hit, they want to lift, they want to come in and throw a bullpen, whatever, they can come in and do that. All they just got to do is just shoot me a message and I'll make sure it gets unlocked and they've got access.
Nice. Love that. Love that. Love that. All right. So sweet. So then let's talk about families. Okay. Families. How has the response been with making this huge announcement? Is our coaches fired up? Our parents fired? Where are we at when it comes to this big announcement that you guys made?
Yeah, man. So it was actually, I know I run the whole thing. I make the kind of the final decisions of everything that we had.
Right.
I really like when everybody kind of has a say. That obviously, you're never going to make everybody happy, but I don't remember when it was, but I sent out a message to every single team that we have. Like we use the Band app to kind of communicate everything. I sent the same message to everybody. It's like, hey, we're having a organization meeting. If you can make it, you need to make it. If you can't, that's fine. But just I'll put a message in here of kind of like what we talked about there because I knew that I needed to kind of get the announcement out that we were going to make the switch over, but the last thing I wanted was to just post it online and then people, because I knew I was going to get 100 text messages of the same question, 100 calls of the same questions. So I was like, you know what? Let me beat all those questions. And I just had everybody show up to our home field and everybody brought a lawn chair or sat in the bleachers. And I kind of explained to them, I'm like, hey, like, I know this is, just a 45-minute meeting here that
Right.
practicing, they're not doing this, but I feel like I owe it to you guys to kind of explain what's happening here rather than you guys seeing it and then making your own assumptions and then being upset or being blindsided, whatever. So, yeah, man, I talked for about 45 minutes, kind of explained everything that we thought as coaches and as people kind of running everything. We thought this is the move for us to make. I think there were a lot of people that were very, very happy. They appreciated that we went that way about it. They could see that we were, sad that we were moving on from something, but excited to be moving on to this. And they were pumped about it after kind of having that meeting. And I think that helped a lot, being able to just get in front of everybody, tell everybody what's going on, and not just let everybody kind of like run wild in their own brains about it. So that was good. People were pumped. People were excited. They wanted to know more about things. Our old red color was so hard to match, so I had a bunch of people that are like, red easier now. The red and whatnot. So no, it was a good move. People were excited. The kids were excited. I think a lot of the kids, they stayed like 45 minutes after we were done and just were talking and all this kind of stuff. Like, oh, we can do this now. We can do like so. I think overall it was a very positive move, positive change for us.
Awesome. Love to hear that, man. And like I said, we are just as pumped. We're super excited to have you guys. Let's talk more so player development now. Let's
Yep.
switch kind of gears here. So I do know that's a massive component on, hey, how an organization's only as good as they can develop guys, right?
Yep.
Like that's kind of how I've been taught, and that's kind of how we rock and roll here. So when it comes to player development, how do you guys set up kids to succeed when it comes to player development? Do you guys have a specific practice plan? Do you guys have resources? Kind of what does that look from behind the scenes?
Yeah. So the we kind of call them coordinators. I played outfield. Outfield. I'm left-handed, and I didn't like to pitch. So I was very I actually am very happy I didn't have to field ground balls on some of the fields that, hey, if you don't want to get in front of a ground ball, that's a choice by you. But like, back when we were playing, there was probably 7 rocks on the way to that ground ball getting to me at shortstop or second base, whatever. So, that bad hop was coming. You just didn't know exactly when it was coming. So
Right.
playing outfield, I run all of our outfield practices, especially during the fall and winter. And then got a bunch of other guys that have played baseball at a high level that run the pitching side of things. Kind of takes a lot off of our younger dad coaches, younger teams dad. Like so, we try to do and this is kind of like the last baseball I played was with the Minnesota Twins. So I'm kind of used to those practice plans and how okay, outfielders, you're going over here to work on your thing. Middle infielders, you're going over here. Catchers, you're like so we split practices up in that fashion there where we've got groups of like positions or similar positions that hey this is our kind of our main goal of like say we're doing cuts and relays. All right, well,
Mhm.
outfielders, you're going to go work near the fence. How are we going to position our body to get the ball off the fence and throw it in? Infielders, you're going to work on positioning for double cuts. How deep do we need to be on the cut to make sure, okay, hey, if this guy's throwing the ball from the outfield, he's got a stronger arm, we can be closer to third base. If he's got a weaker arm, we need to be farther out. So we try to break things down as much as we possibly can in as simple. That way, it's not like, all right, hey, second baseman, we're going to hit the ball to left field here and make a cut to
Right.
third. And I want you to just sit there and watch the shortstops. Like sitting around doesn't like mental reps for high school kids don't work. Mental reps for younger kids don't work because they're not doing it. They need to do things. And
Right.
so taking out as much of the just standing and sitting around as possible is big for us. Everybody's doing something at some point or at the same time. So that way, okay, hey, we've just done this for 20 minutes. We should have an understanding of where we need to be on this ball, how to get this ball in, stuff like that. And then we'll bring it in for a team period of that specific skill. A lot of times our infield and outfield will always start with kind of our everyday drills, our eddies where, it's bare hand ground balls, getting the short hop or bare hand fly balls where we're just kind of, working our clock and taking our drops or taking our steps, stuff like that. So we break things down as small as we possibly can and then bring things back in for the group. That's what we did. And I absolutely loved it because like I said, you're doing something at all times. You're not just sitting there watching a round of infield.
Right.
In and out is not a practice plan. I hate when that's like, hey, what are we doing at practice day? Oh, we're taking in and out.
Right.
That's not we're not that, so we're not
No.
basically what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree.
We're walking through all this stuff. Like it's not a practice plan. That to me that's just okay. Somebody doesn't know what they want to do or doesn't know how to do stuff, so we're just going to take in and out or was it 27 outs or 21 outs? Like
Yeah. Yep.
that's something you can end practice with, but that can't be the meat of the practice. And there's always got to be what specific skill do we need to get better at, and that's how we just try to break things down that way. Sometimes it's our outfielders we're not doing very well on working back on fly balls. So guess what? this machine's going to crank up to about a 97 out of this thing, and we're going to shoot everything over your head, and you're just going to have to go turn and go get it. And understand that, okay, if it's a left-handed hitter, it's going to fade this way. If it's a righty, it's going to, like, trying to teach as much of that little stuff as possible in that specific position group before we try to do anything team wise. If we don't get to the team wise or the team part of it, we don't get to the team part of it. Like, we're not going to rush things and then get upset, like, because wait time is a thing that I absolutely hate. We only get 1 or 2 practice days a week with these guys anyways. It's not like high school ball where you got all 5 days of the week. You can go Saturday. Like, you got to make sure that 2-hour time that you have for practice is you're taking advantage of things. You're taking advantage of every minute, every second that you have there. So that's a big thing for us. And that's kind of one of the things that, I've definitely carried over from my playing days and how that structure of things and whatnot. I loved it. And I think the kids do too. It keeps them busy.
No, absolutely. And same philosophy over here. So I love actually hearing that. And, I think a lot of us share common goals when it kind of comes to that across the country. So it's awesome. It's reassuring. Definitely makes me want to go play for you guys if I live in Missouri.
Yep.
Just saying. But I think that's awesome. So this is, let's see here. We'll go into the future talk. Let's go into the future talk before I got some rapid questions for you that I think our listeners will like. So when it comes to the future of SEMO, what does that look like? As far as, do you want to get to a certain amount of teams? Do you want a larger facility? Like, what does the future of SEMO kind of look like 3, 4, 5 years from now?
And I think I remember one of the parents asked me that question of, because, I told them, I said, hey, they're a national organization. They've got teams all over the country. So one of their questions was, so does that mean we're like in the middle of the like they thought kind of like we were going to be, you have your national team, like we're
right.
I told them, I was like, guys, we are our own thing within the bigger thing. And and they said, okay, so does that mean we're going to have, because I try to get to as many practice. Like I'm going to the, I coach our 16U team this year, and I'm actually going to the 10U practice tomorrow. And
nice.
It's nasty, rainy outside right now. But, so I try to get to all of our team stuff because I feel like that's part of running it. I need to make sure that all of our kids and all of our families know, for one, what I look like, who I am, why I'm doing this, all that kind of stuff. And it's not just, hey, I want you to come play here because it helps me or whatever, So, I try to get to whatever I can. And I don't think there's ever a specific number of teams that I want to get to. If we have more teams next year, awesome. If we have one less team next year, whatever kind of I feel like works for us and whatever kind of continues to push us in the right direction and whatnot is good with me. If that's 10 teams consistently for the next couple of years, if it jumps up to 12 or 14, whatever it is, whatever we have good coaches for, because that's always a thing. Like I won't add any kind of team unless I have a good coach for it.
1,000%. I agree so much with that.
And told this to a person before, because we've in this area we've got a lot of other teams that you'll see some kids bounce from team to team. I'm not in the business of finding good players. I'm in the business of finding good coaches and then players those coaches. So if I try to talk to as many kids, just coming back from college as possible, like, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to coach at some point? Like, come coach over here. All I kind of tell the kids is, because some of them, 22, 23 years old, that's still really young for them to kind of have full control of a team. Because I know how parents, as soon as something that they see negative happening to them, they're gonna be mad. And I don't want the 22-year-old getting just yelled at or calls, whatever. So I tell them, like, hey, you're gonna assist for 1 year, learn how this thing works, and then if you want to head coach a team the following year, go for it. But you're gonna have to assist at least 1 year so you aren't just thrown into the fire and you have no clue how to handle things and whatnot. So if we grow in teams, I know our 15U team this coming year, they've got 3 really good coaches of kids that all played college ball, but they're really good friends. The team runs really well. I'd love for them to be able to split up and have 3 different teams, but man, they work so well together that if they want to continue working together, man, I'm not gonna tell them no.
Right.
So, it's one of those things that would love to be able to kind of upgrade the facility. Like, you see the kind of the videos of the bodybuilders, and they're working out in this kind of like not dingy, but like this old facility and stuff. That's kind of what we hid in. Like it's concrete walls. It is concrete floor with the turf on it. Like it's nothing that, it's not a multi-million-dollar facility, but we get work done in there. Like we get the exact same stuff done in what we're working out of than, some of the bigger, better facilities around. And, I think it's more about what you do in the facility versus what it looks like in there. But obviously would love to always upgrade that to be able to have, the hit tracks or the, rap soda, like, things that, some of the kids, and they may not understand, but it kind of helps the coaches a little bit more, be like, okay, hey, we're progressing in this area on this, or we're not progressing here. So we maybe need to kind of tweak things a little bit, maybe not even have to tell the kid that we're tweaking it to, or kind of accommodate for this, but let's see if this kind of works. Do I see what I need to see to know that it's working and whatnot, and everything. So would love to do that at some point, but if the teams grow to a bigger number, it grows. But it's kind of just what's in front of us, what opportunities are there, and never going to try to force any of that stuff. If it happens, it happens, and we'll definitely be ready for any of that stuff if it does happen. And kind of plan for some of it, but not force it.
No, I love that. Like I said, I feel like it's, you look at a lot of these national groups and it's kind of like a big misconception. I feel like a lot of us get bad reps because we just, people think that, hey, we just want teams. We just want teams. Like, dude, that's not it, man. Like, it's as much as it is a national brand, it's also our brand as well, right? Yep. So I think that's really important. I love what you said, and I could not agree more. So with that being said, we have our fun rapid question time. Okay. So we will pop off some fun stuff here. So try to move quickly. Favorite MLB team?
When I was younger, it was the Red Sox. But then I guess after playing for the Twins, I guess I follow the Twins the most now, even though it's not a fun follow at the moment.
Right. I feel you. We're Tigers fans over here, so I feel your pain.
You guys just lost.
Yeah. We just
He said he may be willing to come back in free agency, so maybe like one of those Aroldis Chapman, what was it, to the Cubs deals where you get the prospect, but I mean, I don't know really what prospects you got out of that. So
it's
major, but
no,
he's back next year.
Maybe one day.
If there is baseball next year.
Right. Favorite baseball player?
I was Barry Bonds guy growing up.
Gotta love it. Have to.
He's, especially being a left-handed hitter as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was my guy. I stayed up and watched every game. Like when he was on that getting close to home, like where they just tune in from Sports Center, like every time he came. I mean, I was glued to that. Like I love Barry Bonds.
He was a freak, man. Favorite stadium? I don't know how many stadiums you've been to, but favorite stadium?
Been to Fenway once. That was amazing. We actually had a college conference tournament out there.
Nice.
I don't know how our conference tournament was in Boston when we were in St. Louis. I have no clue, but we had a tournament out there and we were able to go. I think we got to watch the Oakland Athletics, and dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. I was a Red Sox fan, like I said, and it was awesome to be able to go to that stadium.
That's awesome, dude. We went there. When did we go there? We went to Boston for vacation. I think maybe about a year or two ago.
Yep.
But we were there when they weren't playing. They were setting it up for. They were hosting like a college football game there. It was wild.
Okay, yeah, yep.
Cool place though. Loved it. Big fan. All right, let's see. Best baseball movie.
Ooh,
I know. There's some good ones.
okay, and it not because it's the Twins, but just because I love the idea behind it. But Little Big League, where
Okay.
his grandpa dies or whatever, and he like as the kid he takes over the team as the owner, but then he's like, "Oh, this team's not very good. I could manage it." Now he's the like. As a kid, I was like, "This is definitely possible." And but
Oh yeah.
you couldn't have a 12-year-old doing that. But I
Yeah.
love that movie growing up.
Love it. Favorite tournament destination.
Oh man. Man, I would love to go somewhere out west. You know, we're actually taking a vacation to Phoenix area here soon, so would love
Okay.
to play out in Phoenix. I got to play there in high school for a Under Armour showcase thing, and absolutely loved it. I love the heat, but I hate the humidity, and that's kind of what we have here. So being able to, I'm 115 degrees with very little humidity. Bring it on! Like I'm all for that. So anywhere that's not and hot. So probably Arizona, Southern California, somewhere there.
I love that. I've been there. Where did we go? I can't remember where we went. It was it was somewhere in Arizona, but it was a cool place. I enjoyed it. My wife had her bachelorette party down there, so she enjoyed that too.
Oh yeah, yep.
All right, wood bat or metal bat kind of guy when it comes to tournaments.
For the younger kids, definitely metal bat. I like the wood bats, but it's hard for them to adjust to just how the game adjusts.
Yep.
I would absolutely love. I know it's never going to happen because there's too much money in metal bats. I would love for those. I know high school just passed those like drop sixes or drop fives, but they've
Oh
already.
yeah.
I would love for all metal bats to go to USA and no USSSA because then I think that game translates very well. It's just obviously a metal bat's not going to break as much as a wood bat, so it's a little bit more cost
100%.
effective. I think the game needs to go to USA bats and wood bats only. These bats, man, that you got 11-year-olds hitting it 98 on.
Oh my god, dude.
It's not safe. It's false hope for some of these kids. Like it teaches bad habits where, oh man, I just came from my 12U season. I hit 27 home runs and now I'm a high school freshman. I can't get the ball in the infield. It's like, yeah, because the hype fire hit all those home runs. Like it wasn't you. It was the hype fire. It was the what Supra or whatever they are now. Like I that's always the tough thing when they get to the drop threes is you see the game change so much because the bats change and
Right.
the way the game has to be played changes. It's hard for them to flip that switch in their own mind.
No, 100%. I actually love that. That was a great answer. Good job, Christian.
I've been asked a lot
Turf
of
or natural grass guy.
natural grass, 100%. If it's
Love it.
taken care of, and it's a good grass and dirt field, that is the best thing to play on. I will say though, if they do allow you to wear metal cleats on the turf, that's a good option. Metal cleats on turf is amazing. You just have so much grip, but I don't like the weird bounces that like turf
Yeah.
changes so much, like which we have so many turf fields here because it could be cold, it could snow, it could rain at any point in the spring. So we play on a lot of turf, but man, if a grass and dirt field is taken care of, it is so nice. Like it's
Oh,
the
I
best.
agree. And then my last one for you is one word that describes USA Prime SEMO.
Oh man, let's
I
see.
know.
I
If
know
you had to
that's
pick one.
I know. I got it because we actually had our parent meeting this past weekend, and I told him, I said, like I told you, we're moving on from the 8%, and I said I think what we need to do as an entire organization is compete better. So I'm gonna use the word like just
I like that.
or editor some kind of form of that word because that's how you get better, that's how you win, that's how you do anything. Is you've got to compete, you've got to find a way to win something. So I'll use compete as the word.
I like that. Christian, with that being said, that is the end of our fast, rapid question and answers. Good work. All righty. So with that being said, man, I put this together. I don't know, and you're going to help me out with this. Social media channels. I don't know what the heck you guys are called right now. I'm assuming it's USA Prime SEMO.
Yes, correct. Yep. Let me actually.
All right.
Is on there. Correct. Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, listeners out there, like, comment, and subscribe. USA Prime SEMO. Christian, what platforms we got?
Right now,
social medias.
Yep. Instagram, Facebook. I believe that one just switched over to the USA Prime name. I know I had to. It's like a 60-day wait or whatever. So I was like, I'll wait until our season's completely over. Yep. USA Prime SEMO on Facebook. Still getting a I guess X or Twitter page put together and whatnot. That one's obviously our least used out of everything, just because I don't know how many kids actually use Twitter. They like the graphics, so it's a little bit easier to Instagram and Facebook, but it'll be the exact same thing. USA Prime SEMO on all the platforms.
Awesome. All right. So listeners, make sure you guys hit them up with a follow. Again, if I was in Southeast Missouri, this is where I would want to go. So, Christian, I appreciate it. Those that continue to follow us, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We are on everything. And I know Mark will yell at me if I don't say this, but also USA Prime Softball. I got to update this page, obviously, but we got USA Prime Softball as well that you guys can follow on all of those social media channels. So lots of exciting stuff coming. Christian, I appreciate you coming on. It's been awesome getting to know you and watching what you're building in Southeast Missouri. I'm super excited for the future for you guys. And I think we're just honestly scratching the surface in that area. So for everybody listening, make sure you guys follow, support Christian and his staff, keep an eye on what they're building. Christian, is there anything else that you want to tell our listeners before we get out of here?
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for listening. I'm very lucky with what I get to do every day. It literally is just baseball every single day. If anybody ever has any questions they want, somebody that they don't know at all, shoot me a message, shoot me whatever. Be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with this on a baseball field, whatever, or I need to help making this decision. I'm always available. So, if it helps somebody else within the USA Prime organization somewhere, more than happy to help. If it helps get somebody to want to go move to USA Prime, whatever it is. I think all of us that are going to be coaching underneath this want the best for USA Prime. They want the best for what they're building. And I think it all kind of, pushes in the same direction there. So, like I said, I'm always available. Reach me on any of those platforms. I run all the social media pages, so I'll get those emails and all that kind of all the messages. So, or if you have any other questions about whatever we talked about today, could be anything. So, I'm available, willing to help, willing to do whatever it takes to kind of, whatever it kind of takes to get people the answers that they need to help them in baseball.
Well, hey, Christian, thanks for joining us again. And to everyone listening, thanks for checking out another episode of Everything USA Prime. Christian, we always sign off with this, but we are a Prime on Top type family. So with that being said, Prime on Top.
Yep, Prime on Top.